You know, the trolley problem is famous for being this super difficult, mind-bending philosophical question. I mean, some people get really stumped by it. But here's the thing. While it might seem like there's no easy answer, I'm going to show you that it's actually pretty simple.
So, let's just quickly lay out the classic setup. Part A. You've got this runaway trolley, right? It's speeding down a track, and it's headed straight for 5 people who are tied up. Bad situation. But you're standing right next to a lever. If you pull it, you can divert the trolley onto a second track. The only catch? There's one person tied up on that track.
So, what do? Would you pull the lever? I mean, come on, this seems like a total no-brainer, right? You save 5 lives for the price of 1. It's just simple math. You pull the switch every single time. And honestly, you'd be right. Or, well, mostly right.
Because here's the twist. That wasn't the whole problem. That was just part A. You see, the trolley problem is really a series of multiple-choice questions, and each one is designed to mess with your head just a little bit more.
So let's get to part B. This is where theory crashes right into reality. The question is, okay, but would you actually pull the switch if you were there? Because for most of us, when we're being honest, the answer is probably no. We just freeze up.
And why is that? Well, in a real-life panic, our brains just go into overdrive. You start thinking, wait, don't modern trains have, like, automatic safety features? What if I get sued? What if I go to jail for this? And then your body's natural fight, flight, or freeze response kicks in. And let's be real, most of us are going to freeze and hope someone else who knows what they're doing shows up.
All right, so that's the real-world stuff. Let's get back to the fun theoretical part. Welcome to part C. Probably the most famous twist on the whole problem, the fat man dilemma.
Okay, so picture this. There's no lever, no second track. Just one track, 5 people, and that runaway trolley. But this time, you're on a bridge overlooking the whole scene, and standing right next to you is a man who is, well, heavy enough to stop the train. You have the option to push him off the bridge and onto the tracks below.
So, would you push him? Now, the math is exactly the same, right? It's still 1 life to save 5. But I'm willing to bet your gut reaction is completely different this time. For almost everyone, the answer is a hard, immediate no.
And this is the absolute core of the trolley problem. You've got the cold academic view that says, hey, the numbers are the same, so the choice is the same. But then you've got your gut feeling, that little moral calculator in your brain that's running 1,000 calculations a second, and it is just screaming, absolutely not. Don't you dare.
So why does our gut feeling slam on the brakes so hard? Well, first off, the plan is just ridiculous. Are we seriously supposed to believe one person can stop a speeding train? Second, and this is a big one, this guy's not even involved. He's just minding his own business on a bridge. And third, the whole premise is just awful. We're specifically targeting someone because they're heavy. It just feels wrong on every level.
Okay, so pushing the man is a clear no. But the philosophers didn't stop there, of course. They came up with even more complicated scenarios to keep twisting the tracks and testing our intuition.
Let's move on to part E, the loop. Okay, so imagine the main track has 5 people, but right before them, there's a switch. If you pull it, the train goes onto a loop track. On that loop is one person. The train will hit them, and their impact will stop the train before it can circle back and hit the other 5.
Now, if you think about it, this is mathematically the same as pushing the man off the bridge. You're still using one person to stop the train. But for a lot of people, the gut feeling starts to change here. Why? Well, for one, a switch feels a lot more reliable than a push. 2, it's less direct. You're not physically touching them. And 3, and this is the most important part, the person is already on a train track. That makes them, in our guts calculation, fair game.
So let's try one more. Part F, the hammock. We're back to the original setup with a switch. But this time, pulling the switch doesn't divert the train, it completely derails it. The train then careens off the tracks, through a fence, and into a guy's backyard, where it hits him while he's just peacefully sleeping in his hammock.
So what's the verdict from the gut calculator? It's another hard no. First of all, derailing a train sounds like a terrible idea. Who knows what could happen? But more than that, this guy is completely uninvolved. He's asleep. He wouldn't even know he died a hero. It just feels mean, doesn't it?
So far, we've been stuck in this world of trains and tracks. But to really test our moral logic, we need to take it out of the train yard entirely and see if the same rules apply, say, in a hospital.
So here's the scene. A brilliant surgeon has 5 patients who are all going to die unless they get an organ transplant. Each needs a different organ. Just then, a perfectly healthy person walks in for a routine checkup. The surgeon realizes they could take this person's organs and save all 5 patients. Should they do it?
And of course, the answer is a massive, resounding no. The math is still 5 for 1, but our brain instantly sees the difference. This is where we really see that fair game principle in action. The 5 sick patients, they're already part of this life or death crisis. They're fair game. The healthy person who just popped in for a checkup, absolutely not fair game. It's not about the numbers, it's about who's already in the game.
By now, you've probably noticed that our gut feeling has handled all of these scenarios pretty easily. And that might really annoy some academics, who would probably try to stump us with one last, completely over-the-top question.
And here it is. How many criminals would you sacrifice to save one Nobel Peace Prize winner? Now, this might seem tough, but for me, the answer is actually pretty easy.
Look, even if the other track was completely empty, I'd still hit the Nobel Peace Prize winner. Why? So I could grab the medal and make a run for it.
Is there some deep philosophical justification for that? Nope, not at all. It's just the sheer irony of winning a Nobel Peace Prize for causing a completely unnecessary death. You just can't beat that.
But all jokes aside, that really brings us to the main point. We've gone through all these wild scenarios, switches, bridges, surgeons, hammocks, and the one thing that guided us every time was that instant gut feeling. So the real question is this: is that gut feeling, that super fast moral calculator we all have, actually the best tool for the job when it comes to these impossible choices? Something to think about.